Pilot Point was founded in 1853 and is the oldest established city in Denton County. Its historic downtown has been certified by the National Park Service on the National Register of Historic Places since 2007. Pilot Point may be best known as being the site of one of the bank robbery scenes from the 1967 film Bonnie and Clyde. Due to this and the numerous other films that have been filmed in the area, the Texas Film Commission recognized Pilot Point as a film-friendly community in 2021. The city has a population of 6,374 and is currently growing at a rate of 8.33% annually, and its population has increased by 44.44% since the most recent census, which recorded a population of 4,413 in 2020. As early as 1845, 2 years before Denton County was organized, settlers began making their homes near the place known as Pilot's Point, situated on the edge of the Cross Timbers section of Texas. These settlers had migrated from Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Missouri to establish themselves on either the rich, endless blackland prairies to the east or the expanses of sandy wooded land to the west. The highest point of land in the area was a small hill on which the city square is now located. Oak trees covered much of the hill. Standing tall among the oaks was a magnificent cottonwood tree that could be seen from a great distance. This high, wooded point of land was a landmark for the Indians, and later for rangers, scouts, and other travelers, guiding them across the sprawling, trackless land. The landmark, known as Pilot's Point, gradually became known simply as Pilot Point. A short distance north was Dripping Springs, which provided excellent water and a pleasant campground for Indians, rangers, and cowboys. The land was granted to Charles Smith's heirs on March 13, 1841. Smith came to Texas in 1836 and was granted a parcel of land in the North Trinity Valley under the colonization laws of the government of Mexico. Smith never lived to settle in the area, but his wife Sophia Smith was assigned the rights to this grant by the Republic of Texas. On February 11, 1854, James Pearson laid off the plat of Pilot Point. Settlers arrived rapidly, and Pilot Point received a post office in 1855 with James D. Walcott, the owner of Pilot Point's first general store, as postmaster. In 1856, the first subscription school in the community opened, operated by a New Yorker, Alpheus Knight. 2 churches were founded that year, the First Baptist and the Methodist. In the late 1850s, the Butterfield Overland Mail Stage route ran through Pilot Point. In the autumn of 1880, the first train rolled through Pilot Point over the newly constructed line of the Texas and Pacific Railroad. Under a lease arrangement, the Missouri, Kansas, and Texas Railway ran over the same track. This gave Pilot Point excellent passenger and freight service for many years. A cotton gin was built by Henry Sells and J.P. Cooper. It was the largest gin in the United States at the time. The first bank in town was privately owned. It opened in 1884, and 8 years later, it became the Pilot Point National Bank. The bank continues to serve Pilot Point today, but is now known as Point Bank. Built in 1885, this building served as a saddlery and saloon from 1885 until 1907. During the 20s and 30s, it housed the notorious Cafe and Domino Hall. Throughout the years, it has been an electronics repair shop and a cafe. Built in 1875, this building once housed F.A. Wright Dry Goods, grocery, and leather. With the advancement of electricity, it became home to the telephone exchange in 1912. The local telephone operator was housed on the second floor and was expected to locate wayward citizens on the town square. The facade of the building was remodeled from Victorian to Nouveau Deco in the 1920s. Previously housed Greenberg Perlman Antiques, which still can be seen on the sign above the awning. The Pilot Point Coffeehouse building was built in 1873. It was originally built for J.W. Edelman by John Hundley and housed Star Drugstore. This building has also housed the original post office for Pilot Point. It was later used by J.C. Selman and Son Groceries. Since 1873, the building has been rebuilt from fires 4 times. Built in 1873, it originally connected to the building to the west. Sanborn maps identify this property as a drugstore from 1885 through 1940. It currently serves as a private residence. The Purple Door Day Spa and Salon building is the oldest brick building in Denton County. It was commissioned in 1872 by John Merchant and built by John Hundley. Originally, it was home to a general store, and the second floor was used frequently as a lodge hall. The Farmers and Merchants Bank building was built in 1896 with its Richardsonian Romanesque architecture, is a focal point of the square. It closed during the Great Depression and has never reopened as a bank. It was used as a set for the 1967 film Bonnie and Clyde, starring Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway, as well as being the annual backdrop for the Pilot Point Main Street Bonnie and Clyde Days Festival. It is the only building in the district displaying high-style characteristics, featuring an eclectic mix of Beaux Arts, Tudor Revival, and Romanesque Revival elements. By 1890, Pilot Point had achieved a population of 1,090, and the once quiet farming community had become an industrial center for the North Texas area. The town has slowly grown over the 20th century as well, and between deep community ties and higher than average quality of life for many families living in Pilot Point, it has become a popular and populated member of the county. The average household income in Pilot Point is $100,020 with a poverty rate of 6.93%, and median age is 35.3 years, 45.1 years for males, and 31.8 years for females. 70.26% are white, 2.77% Black or African American, and 24.66% mixed races. Pilot Point has become a popular spot for capturing small-town Southern life in the movies and has had its fair share of adventures, misadventures, and iconic happenings littering its well-preserved historical structures. Although this little haven of culture is tucked away from the hustle and bustle around Denton, it's worth checking out for the rich history and Texas spirit.